going to gain our endeavors. We gain 3 endeavors because you get endeavors for returning survivors only. And then we draw our settlement event. Shuffle up and draw an event. Dark Trader.
Oh, it's not loaded into
A
me.
corpulent man reclines on a chair carried on the back of 4 cloaked men. He offers to sell the settlement many amazing treasures. Each item may be produced once. Strange Brew. For 6 resources, you consume the brew, roll 1d10. The liquid freezes in your throat. On a 1 or 2, you are dead. Everything goes red, gain Rageholic disorder, and the intracranial hemorrhage, severe injury. However, if you manage to roll a 10, it burns your eyes, gain +1 permanent accuracy. For 2 resources, you gain the pink stone, and you roll 1d10. As soon as the trader leaves, on a 1 to 2, you realize you bought a useless rock. On a 3 to 9, it's just a sharp rock, gain founding stone gear. On 10, the stone begins to glow, gain the immortal disorder.
This is amazing.
Yeah. For 7 resources, you can craft the shiny, sexy, jeweled thong. You wear this forever. Roll 1d10. You look amazing, if only it wasn't so uncomfortable. Suffer -1 permanent evasion. Or on a 3 to 9, it falls apart as soon as the trader leaves. On a 10, wearing it feels incredible, gain +1 permanent luck.
So, the pink stone sounds like it could be...
Well,
I mean, like an extra founding stone seems like that's probably not a bad thing to have. Or am I wrong in thinking?
I mean, a founding stone is cool, but do you want to spend 2 resources on a founding stone?
I don't
Given especially that we need gear.
know. What's the immortal disorder?
Immortal, I'm gonna have to read it. Disorders, search. I know that it means that you don't die. While you are insane, convert all damage dealt to your hit locations to brain damage. You are so busy reveling in your own glory that you cannot spend survival while insane. So,
Ooh.
That sounds really not that great.
yeah. There's... Maybe that's not a disorder. There's something called ageless, which I think means you don't age out of the game. So that's different. So yeah, that's not like particularly great. Especially if we had somebody with a shitload of insanity, it might be kind of interesting, but we don't yet. And
Just his exploded head.
So,
yeah. I don't know. I would say that 2 resources could be better spent. Like, a lot of weapons are only 2 resources or 1.
anything.
Yeah.
I don't know why these didn't load in. They
cool.
did
So-
last time.
That we're not going to buy any.
Yep, but we are going to update our death count. And our death count is now 1. And so the first time we update our death count, we get to choose Principal Death. So that's in the rulebook. Story events, Principals, Death. So we get to choose between the first harvest for Death Principal Cannibalize, and the first grave for Death Principal Graves. So let me find that shit. Here's Cannibalize, and here is Graves. So Cannibalize raises our survival limit by 1. And whenever a survivor dies, you're going to draw 1 basic resource and add it to the settlement storage. Graves gives all new survivors, so every time someone is born, they're going to get +1 understanding. When a survivor dies during the hunt or showdown phase, you're going to gain 2 innovations, and when a survivor dies during the settlement phase, you will gain 1 innovation.
I lean towards the graves.
Well, Cannibalize does also increase the survival limit, which
Right, that is nice. Especially since we gain one every time we go out to hunt, right?
Well, you get one survival. No. So right now we gain one survival when we go out to hunt from
Okay.
ammonia, right?
Right.
That's it. So if you're at 0 survival, you'll take 1 survival on the next hunt. But there are like pieces of rawhide gear that if you wear them when you depart, you gain a survival.
Okay.
Fresh or dried acanthus, you gain 2 survival if you wear it out to hunt.
Okay. So if we came back with the one survival that we already had from ammonia, we wouldn't get another one when we leave?
You would, yeah, they
Okay.
stack. So I mean, that's persistent.
Not that we would probably ever
But
have
yeah,
that many coming back, but
but yeah, I was just being clear that you don't get like an addition. Like it's not like you get 1 the first time and then 2 the second time or anything like that.
oh, right,
It's
okay.
just the 1 from ammonia, and there's other innovations and things like that that will, the same way they add to survival limit, will later on add more survival. So I mean, having a higher survival limit is nice, especially once we get surge and dash, because surge allows you to use survival to take an extra attack, and dash allows you to use the survival to take an extra movement. So when you can start to use survival offensively, it's nice to have more of it. That way you still have some reserved for defense. Honestly, both Cannibalize and Graves are pretty good. Basically, like the way I look at it is Cannibalize is better early on than Graves is, because like right now we don't have much that we can do with extra endeavors that we really need to do, right? Um, and we're not like super flush on resources, and we still need to build a lot of stuff. So Cannibalize, good early for getting us some additional resources if people die, and raising the survival limit by 1. But Graves gives that bonus understanding, which isn't a huge deal. But having the extra endeavors later when people die, and we have more shit to do with endeavors through innovating, could be cool.
Okay.
So it's like really kind of a toss up.
Well, I was gonna say that, like, I mean, Graves could definitely be better, just especially if when like we get into like stuff where like last week, where if we're gonna be trying to do like the reproducing stuff and like people die, having an extra endeavor from that stuff seems like it.
Yeah, I mean, having
Or does
protect the young.
Cannibalize count for that too?
Cannibalize does count for that. Cannibalize would give you the basic resource when somebody dies, but having Graves and Protect the Young, I think tends to be a better way to keep your population up, because when somebody dies during the hunt or showdown, you're going to get 2 more chances to
So
basically reproduce.
does next week, since aren't we getting, what is it, the Nemesis encounter? Is that would
No, so next week we're gonna, so basically like the way it works is, I kind of had this wrong I think, but so like if you think of the prologue as year 0, and then the settlement phase, like if you think of it as settlement phase is the beginning of the year, the showdown is the end of the year. So
okay?
like the prologue's not really on the timeline. So our first hunt
Oh,
in the
okay.
prologue, yeah, and is not really on there. And then returning survivors in year 1 was our first hunt. That was our year 1 hunt, and then our year 2 hunt was the first hunt we did with Corey. Or I'm sorry, the year 2 hunt was this hunt.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the year 3 hunt will be next hunt. So we're gonna get one more hunt in
Before the Nemesis.
before the Nemesis encounter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious if it
I
would
don't
affect what we chose.
I don't think we get I don't think we get the chance to craft before that, because I think when you update the timeline, that is, yeah, I think that's when you do your Nemesis encounter.
Okay.
So we won't get a chance to craft after our next thing. We get a chance to craft right here, though. So yeah, I don't know. Did you have any opinion, Chris? Are you even still around? Fair.
No opinion.
No opinion. All right. Did you guys both like? Did you guys both like Graves, or did you have some leaning towards Cannibalize, or?
I'm leaning towards Graves personally.
I like Graves better as well.
Alright, let's do Graves then. Okay, so we've done that. So, as part of this, we decided to build a small monument to mark their loss. The settlement gains Death Principal Graves. Find and place the card on the settlement board, noted on the settlement record sheet. After adding the card, roll 1d10. So roll 1d10 here.
6.
6. On a 6 to 10, nominate a survivor with tears in their eyes. The survivor takes a shard of rock from the grave and marks themselves with it. They cherish this mark forever. The survivor gains +1 permanent luck. That's really good, actually. Which of our current survivors is not fucked up?
Yours?
Just mine.
Yeah. I have a disorder.
I don't think your disorder is too terrible.
No.
Well,
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, other than the broken arm on mine, it's not too terrible, but...
Right. Well, and the problem with my disorder is, like, I'm gonna be the threat, so I'll be targeted if I'm not knocked down. So I do have the higher chance of possibly getting effed up.
Okay, well, I'll give myself one. I'll give Unji here one cool luck. Which is really good. I'm using the guitar anyways, so that's probably good to stack luck with, which means I'll crit on
Nice.
an 8, 9, or 10 right now.
Oh, sick. Is it sad that I kind of wish we did
Uh,
cannibalize now because we could have tore apart Chris's corpse with that roll?
Well, you can't though because you'd have to wait until the next time Chris dies. Because,
Ah!
well, I mean, I guess you technically do. You technically do you gain?
I wouldn't think so.
No,
think
typically
it's,
that
like,
stuff happens
after
the
the
next time.
Okay.
But yeah, but we would have gained 1 speed instead of 1 luck. I still think 1 luck is better. Critting is better than like an extra attack roll. I think.
Right.
Especially like that's the cool thing about the antelope is if you noticed on a lot of those cards when you crit you get a bonus. You get like bonus antelope resources. So I guess that's kind of the trade-off. It's a harder
Right.
fight, but there's more opportunity to gain bonus resources than there is with the lion. Okay, so I actually need to age up real. Well, I can just do that later. It's fine. We can just do the shit with you guys. So develop is where we get to do shits. In our settlement storage, we have two broken lanterns, which are scrap, an iron, which is a scrap, a shimmering mane, which is a hide, and sinew, which is an organ. And if we want to innovate, we need a bone, an organ, and a hide. So my suggestion would be that we take the monster hide, the monster bone, and one of these beast steaks,
Okay.
and use them to innovate.
Yeah, that sounds good.
As those are kind of the most generic options we have. Beefsteak doesn't do anything in particular. One of the other reasons that I didn't mention earlier that I wanted to fight, that I like, oh god, that I like fighting the antelope is the antelope. If you get the antelope's bladder, once you get the paint innovation, that can be used to make, and you have to have the stone circle also, but that can be used to make blood paint. And blood paint is you put it in your gear grid, and you put a weapon on either side of it, and there's paint. You put a weapon on either side of it, and then you get you make an attack with both of those weapons individually. So and all it takes is the bladder and one other organ, and it's pretty good because it persists throughout the game.
Nice.
All right, so we have storytelling, which gives us